Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome my Impact Wrestling fam. This is episode 95 on the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff. This is the TNAIW channel, your one-stop shop for all your Impact Wrestling needs and nonsense, to be honest. We're going to have some fun tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, your YouTube comments, the new fresh GoGoPowerRankings, Impact on Access TV review, hot topics, and we're going to roll back STEINER Math for Kids again. A few of you saw it there. I appreciate the support. Love as always. But here's a little rundown in case you're new to the game. Bottom left there. I am going to take a second to breathe and get a little sip of water. I pulled a Peter Venkman. Jumped over that gate right there. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Out of breath. Almost tripped. All right. How you guys doing? Welcome to the show. You can see the numbers there. We'll talk about that in just a second, or kind of overall. Don't like to spend too much time on the numbers, but as what I do say rather is I'm in the treehouse, guys. It's been a long day. The numbers do matter in the sense of letting us know what we're doing well, what you like, what you don't like, and so on. We're building a foundation here, but also building a platform. The day-to-day numbers, we talk about them, we look at them, but they don't garner our happiness. Just kind of seeing who's coming to us, who's leaving us, and everything in between. Once again, this is about building a community. Sometimes we say stuff that's positive. Sometimes we say stuff that's negative, but it's all in the gray. We're honest. We're unbiased. We're transparent. What's going on? David popping up to show support. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Thank you. But yeah, as I said, we're trying to build a community. Sometimes we argue, sometimes we disagree, but we always come back together, and it's always in a kind-hearted way. As long as you come at us cool, we are good as well. We fuck with you, you fuck with us. All right, Millard in the chat, what's going on? Now, I do want to say that the number that I thought was pretty dope. 70, our highest amount of people in this chat last Sunday, 8 p.m. here live, TNAIW channel, right on Twitch. Thank you. That's really cool, man. I really appreciate that because it's a one-on-one conversation. I get to talk to you guys. You get to talk to me. And then, of course, if you're watching us on YouTube at 10 p.m. or beyond, we thank you as well. Leave a comment, and you could be right here on the YouTube comment section and segment that we're about to hit. And also, stay tuned at 9:15. Let me make sure I say that. 9:15 is going to be another episode 3 of The Impact Zone with Max and myself. And it's a fun one. We talk everything from MJF to Athena to Morrissey and everything we're bringing into the company, as well as who we think enters the TNA Hall of Fame, Impact Hall of Fame, this Bound for Glory. So a lot to talk about, guys. A lot to hit. Of course, I want to hit one more thing. There's a couple of guys out there on Talking Bloody Nonsense, Nix and Craig, who just crush it every week in my eyes. Their numbers are up, which is dope. They're putting in the grind. They have some great TBN chats coming up, and that they've already done. One I want to say, but I want to lock in the date before we do, but it's an old friend returning to the show for a chat with them. But check them out live every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST. Keep supporting them. All right. Let's get to YouTube comments. First up is a new one, Kemper Sherrill. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He came in and said, and we had a discussion about it, but I wanted to make sure that I gave him his cred here and show how a proper discussion of disagreement can happen. And still have a great outcome. Anthem Sports' net worth is $125.5 billion company as of 5/30/22. One, I appreciate watching, appreciate you writing, and T. Hughes 1990, appreciate you as always. I kindly said they are not. There are two anthems. If you guys also disagree with me when I say that we are a small market team, that's nothing negative. There's a lot of small market teams I love. I love my Utica Comets, who are the affiliate, NHL, AHL affiliate for the New Jersey Devils. I love my Westchester Knicks, okay? I love the MLS. Max and I actually go into a little bit this on DAZN, actually. But I will keep it within house. We are a small market team. The Aspers did have a pretty big empire. We were corrected from the get-go from one of our friends, and I apologize who it was, but a friend from up north corrected us. They are building back their company and their company's value. Their giant portfolio that they're obviously gaining on, but they are not a billion-dollar company. The Anthem you look up, when you look it up, you have to be careful. That is Anthem, which is a publicly traded company. I believe it has to do with health insurance. But just so you guys wonder, why aren't they spending all the money? They do. And there's been some good information passed to us about, once again, they get in the black, they spend it. They get in the black, they spend it. And that's one of the things we touch on as well later in the show, as well as DAZN, is Impact's not sleeping on losing people. Okay, they use that money and reinvest, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But thank you, Kemper, for your first comment to my knowledge. Appreciate that. Next up, Darker Sides 22. Look, this guy, I always say it, man. And I don't know if it's girl, guy, whatever, in between. I always say it. It takes a lot of you-know-what to come on here or anywhere on social media and put your opinion for other people to disagree with, agree with, or blatantly shit on sometimes. And we've lost some comments, we've gained some comments, we've lost some comments, we gained some comments. But Darker Sides 22, riding with us. So here we go. This one's for you, buddy. I'd rather Impact sign the Briscoes because they are more interesting, and the Goof Brothers have not elevated the tag division. That said, I don't like how Impact gave the Briscoes the tag titles, especially if they're going to leave a few weeks after winning them. Glad Swann won the DMC. I thought Cardona being DMC champion after his heel turn would be entertaining, but it was the exact opposite. Cardona seemed like a PG version of his indie heel character, as he rarely even had matches for the DMC title, so it was a fail, but now hopefully Rich can defend the title more often. Well, let's separate that there. First of all, with the Goof Brothers, I think I asked Io, so maybe Io can give us some information here on the chat. But let's look at what the tag division was before the Good Brothers, and let's look at what it is now. So you could say all this stuff about the Good Brothers not being whatever or not elevating, but I beg to differ, and we're not a homer because we will talk about that during the review of Impact in a different light. But in regards to them adding value, I think they 100% did. The Briscoes, look, I would love for them to be permanent mainstays of Impact. I think there's a good shot of that. We talk about that a little bit later, so I don't want to be redundant here. I think if you can shoot and get both, you shoot and you keep both. Now, as far as the tag titles, I agree. Do I want to hotshot him and put him on him right away? No. But do I think if you have the option when you're talking to them and say you have more inside knowledge as far as management goes, and you say, okay, we don't want a full-time contract, we want PPA. Well, shit, they're not going to be committal. Both feet aren't firmly planted into Impact. They're big stars, though. Let's get as much buzz out of them as we can. And you guys say, well, they don't spend money on advertising. They don't do this. They're making strategic decisions with their budget. And bringing in a Briscoes and saying, well, we could spend, millions of dollars on advertising to pop the internet or to get things out there that the internet's going to scoff at anyways, or algorithms will keep out of their cycle anyways and feed anyways. Let's put some tag titles on the Briscoes and see what that does for us. And for all intents and purposes, I think it worked. So I'm with you. I was saying LAX North and Rascals. Yeah, but the problem with them is they left. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. It wasn't, there was no mainstay of the tag division. North were wrestling Jim Bob and Joe Duke from Oswego or something every other week. So, glad Swann won the DMC title. Yes, I agree with you there. I think Swann, hello to Tia, Io as well, I already said that, but Tia in the chat. You can check her on GoGoPowerRankings every Tuesday now. Tuesday, Turbo, Power Rankings Turbo will debut this Tuesday. Check that out. But yeah, no, I think with the Cardona thing, I think a lot of things play into that. One, there's 88 minutes of television. That's not an excuse, but each segment has to be taken up. He obviously would be an important part if you're pushing that DMC title, but part of the thing is you put the belt on someone who's a PPA, who gets the buzz from it, who adds to that lineage. Once again, Grace, Cardona, Swann. you're going to have to take the lumps with it. He played his character. He played on the outside. He defended it outside. He did with that. I agree with you in the amount of defenses that were on our television. I agree. But at the same time, you look at that record book. Max talked about it last week. You look at the record book, not only the 3 names are there, but you also have them each holding the title for about 90 days, right? So 100 days. I think this is the start of it. For the people who want to scrap this title and move on, I don't agree with that. A legacy is not built in a day. We've talked about this. You've seen the clip, I imagine. But we just have to be patient, because at the end of the day, in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, when we are bigger than we are now, and people look at the record book and say, damn, the DMC Championship has had heavy hitter after heavy hitter after every heavy hitter as its legacy so far, as its lineage so far. I think patience. Unfortunately, once again, we are a small market team. We can't just hot shot and get the relevancy of the TBS title in day one. Pro wrestling, by the way, guys. That's another thing. We actually lost viewers, subscribers, all of that after posting the darker side of the ring, where it jokes GFW or is it GF Global Force? That's how long it's been. GFW. So it jokes us. It jokes WCW. It jokes W. You guys need to get a fucking sense of humor. Dead ass. Darker Side's 22 again. Masha should have a match at Slammiversary rather than the Influence. I mean, Masha Shaw would be great. Yeah, Masha Shaw would be great. Influence having a match as well would be great. I don't think they have to. One can't. They're all. This isn't. Once again, this isn't other shows. You can't have one women's match on a show. We can have multiple. As far as Masha, I like what they're doing with Lish, because what this really does is set up for what I think is about to come. We'll talk about it a little deeper when I talk about the tag division during the review, because there's some writing on the wall. But look for Renee and Giselle. Don't they make a better team? Don't they look like they make a better team? And who did Alish just beat? I think there's something at play here. Okay, I think the tag division, Knockouts tag division, is going to expand rather quickly. Next, Io. Shout out to Io, who kills it on our Twitter account, man. Anything you see that's good is him. All the rest is me. But shout out to this dude. He's there and there if you want to talk to him there. And he's always around on Twitter. Once again, if you want to join the team, we are looking for people who can take it and run with it. People who want to support something positive and grow with us and then reap the benefits of that growth later. Join us. We welcome you with open arms. So much we want to do and so much we can't get to. So, to the dude in last week's comments, stop being paranoid. With free agent stuff, yes, Impact can sign talent, but at the same time, wrestlers have a price or maybe just don't want to be signed right now. We shouldn't care nonetheless, because clearly Impact still pays free agents to appear. Yeah, I think that's a way of looking at it. I think that's in the middle, you know. I sway more towards the don't look at the sheets, look at your screen. And I think that could add a little bit of health for everybody if you do so. Stay in your lane, watch your show, and you'd be surprised how much you like it, and don't worry about what other people are doing. All right. So we're pretty much on time here. Not bad. But first, let's get into GoGoPowerRankings. So we're going to hit up GoGoPowerRankings. Enjoy this as a little palate cleanser. Datila, our homie who's in the chat right now, you could talk to her. She's always here pretty much every Sunday as well. And then GoGoPowerRankings Turbo debuts Tuesday. But this is GoGoPowerRankings, your first release of it. And if you want to join this, I want to thank Manny, Ricky, all the people who are joining us in the new GoGoPowerRankings committee. If you want to join, just write us at Burt Macklin 11 or at TNAIWChannel. All you do, literally, is you're in a chat. Every Thursday after the show, before Saturday 8 p.m., you put in your top 10. Peace out. Don't even have to talk to us. All right? We just need more of you. And I say that because this one's interesting. So enjoy.
Number 10, Moose. Number 9, World Champion Tasha Steelz. Number 8, DMC Rich Swann. Number 7, Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes. Number 6, Mia Yim. Number 5, X Division Champion Ace Austin. Number 4, Sami Callihan. Number 3, Steve Macklin. Number 2, World Champion Josh Alexander. And you, number 1, Honor No More.
Whew. Say what you will. Say what you will. Make a change, write us. Like I said, it's that easy to do it. But Josh, finally, since winning the title, is number 2, not number 1. So that's interesting. Should be a very interesting GoGo Power Rankings this Tuesday. But if you want to make a difference, write us. Really simple, fun time. What do you think? Would you guys, after this week in Impact, what do you think? You know, look, I think we're all sleeping on Honor No More a little bit. I said this with free agency when that came around. Yes, we're losing people, but we just added a group of 6 or 7 that I think will be growing, unless splitting them up. Either way, there's so much talent within that group. I don't see as big of losses as some of us do, but rightfully so. Datila says rightfully so. Homeboy didn't even wrestle this week. If you watch her show, by the way, you'll know her advocacy for Josh not being number 1. I think they're doing really well with him. He always looks like a star. Plus, he gets the 10-point championship push. But I digress. I think when you don't wrestle each week, it does hurt. But you're a champion. He's in other matches. But this week, he just got his ass beat by VBD. So I get that. All right, let's get into Impact on Access TV review. Let's step right into it. Now, I got a lot of shit for this, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to, once again, unbiased, transparent, honest. That's what this show is about. You bring your opinion, we respect your opinion, and vice versa, no matter if you agree or disagree with us. Oh, my cat's dying back there. First off, and this is what I was getting to, sorry. Retro intro number 2. This one was obviously more familiar for a lot of people. Being a day oneer, I enjoy every era of Impact, TNA, NWA, TNA. But this one was not only, a great era, a much easier copy and paste, but it was a nicely done video, and I give them their props on that. Once again, pro wrestling, pro Impact. Honesty is where I aim, and honestly, that last week one before this one sucked donkey. It was horrible. Second up, Mia defeating Savannah Evans. Nice little match here, continuing everything we need to continue for this Knockouts Queen of the Mountain, which is going to be dope. It's going to be dope. The one thing I do want to make notice here, okay, is Savannah Evans, and this is Lucha putting this in my head, by the way. Shout out to Lucha. Are they keeping Tasha under the radar so she comes? Oh, perfect timing. So she is victorious in this Queen of the Mountain. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about Slammiversary, but I want to put that seed in your head because I'm going to ask you later. Is that a possibility? Her backup right now, Savannah Evans, who still has one of the hardest hitting songs in Impact Wrestling. Mia Yim picking up the win here. I personally think Mia's next in line, but we'll see. We'll see. And there's no shame if Tasha does lose. I think going to the Knockouts tag and bringing some extra life into that one, it hurt as well. All right, next up we have Eddie Edwards and Shark Boy backstage. Here's my number 1 rough spot of the show. The crowd was okay. That's not number 1. My number 1 is, the acting in this episode was the drizzling shits, okay? And we had you got one here with Eddie, Shark Boy, and Chris Harris, which... Stoked to see Chris Harris back. I'm sure Craig is stoked to see Shark Boy back. It's not the people in this. We've been clamoring for Chris Harris back. I've been clamoring for TNA Originals versus Honor No More. I still think we get that. I don't think it's that pairing. I think we might be looking at AMW here. Don't want to get our hopes up, but this was a moment. Moving on, we had the Influence back there talking to Rosemary. And this is where the tag division gets interesting, folks. Okay. So you all talk about it. Once again, there's 88 minutes of television, as Max and I will go over later at DAZN live, 9:15 on YouTube, TNAIW channel. You can only have so much on TV at once. Does the tag division need more than Decay and the Influence and whatever comes out with Devilish and whatever comes out with Savannah and Tasha? Sure. More depth helps, but once again, you're paying these people, a tag team nonetheless, so 2 people, to sit around and wait for a tag match. Okay? Obviously, Impact does a very good job of integrating and using every person on their roster, I believe. I think that's one of their great... the greatest attribute Impact has is their creative and their ability to make sure that everyone gets a spot, that no one's just sitting in the proverbial catering, no one's sitting there waiting for a moment. Everyone feels important, and then those who aren't right now, there's a reason, one reason or another. So, that's few and far between, nonetheless. But what I'm getting to here is I really like this because they're picking on Rosemary for Havoc taking that L to Masha, once again bringing in another storyline. And now Havoc's disappeared. Well, who could Rosemary challenge with if Havoc's not around, and challenge for the Influence for the tag team titles of Slammiversary? I mean, Taya makes sense. She's not in the Queen of the Mountain match, right? I think we all love the pairing of Taya and Rosemary. I also want you to remember that if Havoc's not with Rosemary, then where does Havoc go? She's not leaving. She's part of, I believe, the foundation of this. Havoc's a character to where you can just twist a little bit, and she fits right into something else. And personally, I think that's with Su Yung. And I think her and Su Yung would make a dope pairing to add another tag team to that division. Have an instant rivalry with Taya and Rosemary. Gets the belt off the Influence, right? And then gives Sue something to dip her toes back in after having a child and getting back in the ring. I think that's the best of both worlds. And I'm going to jump the gun because Gia was backstage with Lish and Masha at segment 8. You could see there. And I think Lish is going to be distracted or brought into another something. Look, man, I'm big on gear. Their gear don't match. If they're going to be a permanent team and they're going to put money into them, their gear is going to damn well match. But who, once again, looks like they could match? That looks like they have the same kind of look, that has the same kind of style. I think Giselle Shaw and her and Renee Michelle would be a great pairing. So, once again, building and adding. And what Lady Frost is out there somewhere as well, right? She'll be back. Masha's going to have something. So I just... Patience, people. Patience. I really believe Slammiversary is going to be our turning point. Pun intended. All right, next up was Ultimate X. Once again, another dope match that was set up by a dope interaction. Simple, sweet, to the point, and it gave us Kenny King versus, I'm guessing, the fourth Rascal and Blake Christian. Jesus, Lord. My eyes are wider than this, man. But you had Kenny putting up his spot in the Ultimate X against Blake Christian, winning in a match. What I really love about Kenny coming back, and I know if he... It's probably honor no more. He's a former X Division champion twice, if I'm not mistaken. He can talk on his own. He can hype on his own. He doesn't need that proverbial push and character development that so many new people would have. He fits right in. He's a veteran of the ring. And what he does here is takes an ass whooping for... If it was an 8-minute match, he took an ass whooping for 7. And then hit his finisher, cleaned his hands, did his dance, and pieced the fuck out. And I respect the hell out of that. Because just like with Bay and his match that he had with him, this dude is obviously gives back to the wrestling community, to the younger people and the younger generation. But also doesn't seem that there's ego involved to it. And that's for him to come in as a former 2-time champion, if I'm not mistaken, to have that success elsewhere and to give back. Same with Shelley, man. Same with Shelley. I dig it. I respect it, and I dig it. Cringe backstage segment of the night, number two. We had Morrissey, Gujar, and PCO. After their success in the tag team last week, obviously Morrissey's going to have another tag team. I wonder if he wins. With PCO. I did like that, the cutaway to PCO and the smile, and that was fun. They got to give Gujar his time and ability to grow. I respect it. I like building from within. I think he draws, bigger than just on a television show. Obviously, he represents a lot more, just as Shara do in that market, and Raj in that market, which is a proud fan of Impact Wrestling. So I get all that, and I believe in all that, and I like that he's not just a guy from India. I enjoyed that. I talked about it multiple times. You go back and back. I like breaking stereotypes, talking about other aspects of the human being than just being an Indian American or an Indian now American. You get where I'm going. But this guy needs a little something. I don't know if that's being with Raj. I think that opportunity kind of passed itself when they could have turned on Morrissey and made a statement. But we got to see. Once again, I think this guy is Maven or right there, and he needs some time. He's going to be white bread, for lack of better terms, until they can stick him to a wagon that brings him some character. But yeah, this was interesting, and it happened. Next up was Rich Swann defeating the Drama King. Loved how they were smart about this. Obviously, they had to make that switch at PW Revolver to get the belt off of Cardona. He's injured. He's still the NWA champion. He still stole and kept the DMC championship, hence why Swann didn't have it here, right? Love the talking in the ring by Ray Walt to keep pushing that home. Obviously, what him and Hannafan do to commentate this show and to put everything over is phenomenal. I see a Get Alex Zane also thing in there. Yeah. Once again, I'm about a 5-tool player. I want them to have some kind of character development or something to add to it. Once again, they could start in the X Division, but I don't want another thing where we need a Kevin Nash to come in here and do a PCS. Or maybe I do. I don't know. You know what I mean? Let's give him some depth. Let's have a reason he comes in, not just good match guy. All right, there's other shows for that. But yeah, Rich Swann was here. Don't know if it was a technical title defense. Love what it did. Once again, I love Rich Swann on his own. Nothing against Willie. But, Rich showing his energy with his music and his ability to go bell to bell. Let him run with that. Let it ride, as they say. Let it ride. All right. Next up was that segment with Alicia and Masha, as I said. Did I have BTI? Well, I kind of mentioned it. Oh, shame on me. BTI. The news that Iceman Intel wasn't just rain is coming and sky is blue, right? This one actually was, we are going to add someone on to the Ultimate X, and they did. It was my homeboy from Team Canada, Jack Evans. So that's dope to add him there. You can obviously see it on the Tron going by. But we still have one spot, and man, what a show they're putting together. We'll talk about that. But yeah, so we talked BTI. We had Alish over Renee Michelle. Mentioned that she got the package from Masha, hence the X. Hence she's next on the killer list, which is another reason. Come on, love Alish, but is she really gonna beat Masha? Havoc couldn't do it, and she hasn't been back since, right? Foreshadowing, and foretelling. Okay. Next up is the Good Brothers doing their top 10 of things. They're giving them the mic. Does it mean they're leaving? I still don't think they do. I think this is their home with New Japan. I think they are so synonymous with Impact and what Impact is doing and vice versa. There's multiple reasons we do talk about it in the Impact Zone a little bit more, but I just think their Impact couldn't run without them, and they like running with Impact. And I won't go into any more details, but when I say that it is a hand feed hand, I don't know, enter metaphor here. It is a partnership with these Good Brothers, and I think they stay. But I will have to say this. The Good Brothers Comedy Hour, I don't know if it was they were being faces or they were heels here, but it was cringe. I think it was, man. I tried to watch it back. I like the idea of the top 10. Oh, it's the same thing. That part picked up. But the Talking Shop podcast that hit right before for the first 2 minutes of that thing, no one was buying on it. And if the crowd maybe at least, I don't know, fake clapped, or at least take our claps from LOO Trina and use those fake one, that button. I don't know, man. I just couldn't get a read on if they were faces or heels or what the hell this was. And then, of course, the Briscoes come out to a weird reaction as well. Or they faces, you know. Yeah, man. So I thought great idea, poor execution. And maybe I'll watch it again and change my mind. Once again, poor execution by the four that I just mentioned is better than half the shit out there. And I don't mean that to save face, unbiased, transparent, honest. I just think it was cringe in the sense of I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. This isn't it. Great idea. Once again. All right. Next up, Gia with Josh, and then, of course, Diener stepping in there, and then VBD attack and trying to get that drama, trying to get that heat. Nothing wrong with it. You can see why he was number 2, right? That's what he did. But once again, kudos to Josh for just looking and acting and sounding and representing like a world champion. It's that simple. Before he held the belt, and now that he does, he is an Impact wrestler, obviously. He adds to this legacy. He didn't need the belt. I think the belt, and obviously Moose was great, but look, man, since day one, June 19th, obviously, 2002, the belt has been, the main event scene has been what I think a lot of people have harped on, I'd say since day one, honestly. Right? Who was in it? Why the same person was in it? Well, it's the depth isn't there. We're bringing up people. They're not ready for it. We're hot shot. Okay. To say the belt went from, and obviously it was Omega to then Christian to then, Josh, then to Moose, and now back to Josh. Same with the DMC Championship. 2 years down the line, when we have the fans we know we will have, not us, but Impact, the legacy that those four, I'm talking Kenny, I'm talking Christian, I'm talking Moose, and I'm talking and Josh, and then whoever's next, which I think will be Ace. We are building the best set of lineage for this belt that has been, I'll say, a mixed bag up until this point. It's phenomenal. So what this guy does just standing there with the belt is amazing. Anywho, Honor No More defeated Heath and Rhino here. Really like this because, once again, it was a transitional shot because after this we went to the commercial and then Rhino was in an ambulance going to the hospital because they hurt his leg. Honor No More did after defeating them. And then the TNA originals as well. I won't say this was cringe, but bad acting as well. Oh, you just don't know what to do, and blah, 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 blah. And hey. But I digress. I thought that for entertainment purposes, for match quality, I thought this was good, man. I liked Honor No More picking up the win. I love their intro, once again, giving everyone their shine. I like keeping them together because right now, until we need to split them up, there's no reason to blow them apart. They all have the same goal in mind. Until one of them wins a championship or doesn't need each other, they have the same goal in mind. Can't trust anyone. And I guess they're going to spend their time that they won the contracts from in Impact Wrestling beating the shit out of TNA Originals. So you see Rhino go here. He's in the ambulance. This leaves a spot open. I don't think, obviously, Heat's part of that, but I don't pat myself on the back much, Horowitz style. But as the perennial loser Horowitz was, I will gladly say that this time I was right. TNA Originals versus Honor No More. TNA Originals starting with Kazarian and Motor City Machine Gun. We talk about it a lot later. We'll talk about it at Slammiversary, and then we'll talk about it on the Impact Zone. But man, if it's America's Most Wanted, look at the talent that would be in that ring. I saw someone mention Monty Brown at Slammiversary. I saw someone mention Joe and Daniels. Bro, cut it up however you want. If it's any of those cats, there's the logo. I mean, come on, man. We'll talk about it. Next up, shout out to Rhino, by the way. Producing matches, still wrestling on the show, and still cutting weight, man. Let's call spade a spade. Looks good. He's getting back to old, thick but fuck you up Rhino. And I miss that Rhino. It's a little harder when you get age. Trust me. Storm and Daniels. T. Hughes 1990 coming with Storm and Daniels. Take that too, my friend. Take that too. Next up was the main event. We have Moose and Macklin picking up the win. Specifically, Macklin picking up the pinfall over W.Morrissey and PCO. Once again here, this is a showcase of our upper echelon of talent. Macklin, obviously getting that push. I hope he doesn't get right to the World Championship right away. I still think he would be a great opponent for Swann, or to be the person that takes it off Swann eventually. But I joked on Twitter. Once again, you can live tweet with me. I watch the YouTube time, so bear with me. But greatest signing since Kurt Angle, PCO. He's over with the crowd. He has the veteran quality. He could take every L in the book and it would not matter because he's still PCO, and it fits so well. Now, here's the one thing I will say. I don't know the rights to things as far as copyrights, but I'm pretty sure they used Gene Wilder from Young Frankenstein in his promo, in his package, his Tron. Someone's going to sue their ass. So if you're watching any of your production guys, which I did get minuses last week from both my shows, so I'm looking at you. No, that's probably what I said. But be careful. Be careful. But other than that, I love PCO, and I love what he's doing, man. And you guys know what Max's original opinion was, and he's totally turned on that and loves PCO as well, so you got something here. And then, of course, at the end, Macklin picking up the fall. Morrissey doing the honors on his way out. Sammy appears. And Sammy hit pretty high in the power rankings, man. And that is the brilliance, and I won't say star power because I think it's so whatever, but that Sammy has, just like Josh, just like Moose, just like I think Ace is almost there. I think he, after this, once he comes back to the States and depending on what he does from Ultimate X on, he's there. Macklin is on his way there. We have built people that came in here that needed a polishing or needed a push or just needed a home to be, and then let them execute. And we've grown with them, and they've grown with us. Okay, there's different situations, unique situations. Yes, Moose was prominent elsewhere, but you get my point. At the same time, we've brought in people that are veterans to spice it up 6 months to a year. Morrissey's, the Jay Whites, the Jonahs, who will be back, by the way. And we've grown our people at the same time. Creative and management have done a bang-up job, people. And if you take away the internet and just watch the show, man, the best is yet to come. And I don't think... Just watch Slammiversary, guys. Just watch Slammiversary. But yeah, what a great show. What did you guys think? Well, I can tell you. 66% of you, it was 67. Geoff, what kind of whiskey are you drinking? That Solo Cup, brother? I don't drink, my friend. I don't drink anymore. No, just a treehouse guy. But if I did, just to make up for the shitting on him earlier, it would be what is the Good Brothers one? Talking shop of whiskey. I don't know. Oh man, but whiskey was mine of choice. Scotch or whiskey. Yeah, man. All right, 66% actually went to 67%, but percentages, point decimal rather, tenths of percentage, excuse me. So 66% said A, including our buddy Gary, who I don't see in here, but Gary, we love you, thank you, always shouting us out. We appreciate it, but he did A as voted A as well. We have 26% with B, 4% with C, and 4% with D. You know, we're obviously gonna, you know, have people who come on and vote D just to be a dick or vote C to be a dick. At the same time, could that be their honest opinion? It's possible. Like I said, there were things that I thought were negatives, but not enough to put C or D. But C, I can understand. So make sure if you guys want to, you know, put your name on there, just like Gary did. He retweeted it, quote tweeted it, so I knew he put the A. We'll shout you out. We respect any opinion, even if it is a D. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. So get those numbers up, guys. And as always here, like, subscribe if you like what you see. Once again, I always say this before we get into our next thing. So we're about to be on time. Yeah, we're a little over on time, but screw it, right? Cleanse the palate a little bit. Refill my not whiskey. Can't wink. And then play a little Steiner math for you guys during that, and we'll be right back. But before we get into that, into hot topics, yeah, the... Oh, hello. Let's some of that more. I forgot the hell we was talking about. Oh, yeah, I know. We need some people to help us out, as I was saying. Join the Power Rankings, write us there, and write us at TNAIWChannel. We're looking for some heads there. We're looking for some for people to write on YouTube comments, looking for people to help us with the polls, help us with everything in general. We have so much that we want to do, and we could use some helping hands, so that's that. And if I wasn't even talking about that prior, I'll look back at this and laugh at myself. But I love you guys for rocking with us, for continuing to help us, you know. Thank you, Datila, man. You guys are cool. This really is a fam to me. I really say that, and I really mean it. This is one of the highlights of my week, if not the. I love doing this. I'm getting back to where it's fun and smooth and easy for me to do, not worrying about internet connection, all that shit. Got some TNA in the background. I got you guys in the chat. Once again, 70 deep last time. 70 deep. I can't wait to see it, what it is here. And then we're all ahead in Twitch with 96, you know, our rule. We just want as much as the episode will be, so that's good for us. But yeah, guys, help us out. We love you. We appreciate you. Let's get into Steiner math for kids. Let me cleanse that palate, and we'll be right back with some really fire hot topics.
Welcome to Promo Work 101. Today we'll be watching a video on a historical wrestling promo.
In my brains! You wanna kiss that? You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at Sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me and he's not even gonna try. So Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning, if we used to go one-on-one, and then add 66 and 2/3%, I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice. See, but I'm gonna break it down for all you ladies. Would you rather be with me, or would you rather be with Joe?
Well, I think Joe's kind of nice. I mean, you know.
See, you one of those girls that like romance. I'm gonna talk to all my freaks out there. Would you rather come home to me, a genetic freak, to be satisfied every night, or go home to that fat-ass Samoa Joe? See, tonight, we're gonna win, and I'm gonna be the world champion at Sacrifice. Come on, P, let's go.
Scotty, just like you always say, Big Papa Pump has got your hookup. Well, Maple Leaf Muscle is who you need to look up. Holler if you hear.
Yeah. So I remember what I was going to say. Speaking of that, if you do want to have a drink with us, the September tapings, September tapings in Philly, we will be there. I don't know how big the group will be, but I will be, and Max will be at least there. We're talking to a lot of the team, trying to get everyone wrangled up. Got some old friends coming back to meet up with us. Really stoked. So if you want to partake and see how we can plan a way for all of us, we don't have the TNAIW bus yet, but if we find a way for making us all head up to Philly for the tapings right before Bound for Glory, that would be dope. And the other thing, if you don't fuck with us, if you say, oh man, I really like Impact, but this guy with the puppets, yeah, no. I don't blame you. I understand. If my voice isn't the one you want to hear, there are a bunch of other great shows on this channel. Our goal, once again, was 325 for subs on YouTube. Help us out, man. 19 more subs. There's a lot of you guys. 33% of you that watch this show do not sub. Is this something? Well, but point is, there are a lot of great content creators for Impact out there, man. A lot of them. We could go through the list. Obviously, our buddy Mike G, Brace for Impact, always kills it. I'm going to exclude a lot by accident, so I will just stop there. But there's tons of you. And go check out their stuff, man. Go check out their stuff. Because Impact, as long as we're growing the fan base, we're happy. Let's get into Hot Topics. Real. All right. By the way, this is my really beat up Impact one that I got in Nashville for last year's SLAMMIVERSARY. Yeah, never get rid of it. All right. First up is we're going to talk about Morrissey's exit. We're going to talk about Jay White's exit, Jonah's exit. All right. So I saw someone throw around the mass exodus thing. We've talked about that prior, and it's always the same. We've already hit on it a little bit. They bring some people in. They bring some people out. And at the same time, we have our foundation. And our foundation, our core 8, if you will, look at... It's expanded, by the way, past 8. But when you're looking at people that I would say are the fringe of the main event 8, right? And you're talking, I mean, Bay, talking Miguel. You know, you're talking names that could be... Guys, just take a step back. Look at what we got. But we did lose a big one. We lost Morrissey. Now, we even compared him to Braun, and what, you know, why do you need one when you have the other kind of thing on the Impact Zone that debuts 9 at 15 right after this? But now that you lose him, is that a big loss? I will say this. I think any company that has a giant, as their thing, as their character, I guess, as their look, as their whatever. The whole package that's a giant, right? You lose something if you lose them. I think every show should have one, and it's an added bonus if you do. I think Morrissey, the writing was on the wall for me after the Renee podcast. You know, obviously he came in under really interesting circumstances to where he wanted to rebuild his reputation, rebuild his body, rebuild his mind, get his feet wet in TV with some good people, supportive people, and get back to a place where he can then get back to where he was. You got to remember, he was on the cusp of greatness when it came to WWE. He barely tasted the main roster and success on that main roster. This is a guy whose star power was, you know, and he will admit it, was dwindled by his own actions and demons. You come back, you're in the game, you prove you can do it to yourself. There's no shame in saying, hey man, we opened the door for this guy who's a good dude who needed a second chance. He busted his ass. He got over with the crowd. I remember SLAMMIVERSARY when, man, he came in as a heel. Everyone's iffy on him. Of course, do we cheer him? We got to be self-righteous. And after his match with Eddie, man, he could see the bruises on his back, all this stuff. And he walked away, and we started a Morrissey chant. And he just put his arm up, man. And I'm not saying that was the moment I was like, oh, this guy's... What I'm saying to you is, I think for him, he knew from, I won't say that point forward, but from that set of tapings on, that he was on the right path. And his path was, let me get right, let me knock this shit out of the park, and then when opportunity comes, you go on AEW, which he did. You show the world, and like it or not, there is a obviously much larger fan base there. Or at least, viewership. And you get the rub. People know, even though you lose, man, WWE's not going to... He wants to do movies. You look at the Renee conversation. He's very appreciative of what Impact Wrestling provided him with. But he is a smart man who should have a lot of confidence right now. And to finally get the money, to get the fame, to finally be into maybe movies eventually, you gotta go somewhere that's big now. I think he did good by us and we did good by him, and there's nothing wrong in that. There's no shame in that. There are going to be people who do that. We've had tons of them over the past. We could look at them. But he's one of the success stories. And I think you should take pride in that compared to say, oh, he's gone our life. Yeah. Guys, cheer him on his way. People like that do not forget what you do for them or what you provided for them. And they're more likely to give back. Okay? You don't do things to be nice so people give back in the end, but it's an added bonus of karma that we should all embrace. So I say congratulations to him. But as far as how it affects Impact, we'll talk about that on DAZN. And what we would need to replace him. Once again, a giant for a giant would be nice. But I think we need to wait for Slammiversary to happen. Look, guys, look at the amount of departures we've had in the past few months, right? Willie Mack, Morrissey, The Inspiration, Myers. These are people who get paid. They're not chump change. Okay? We brought in Mia, we brought in Taya, we brought in the Briscoes, right? We brought in some people. But something in me speculates that, once again, Impact works within the black. They make money, they spend the money. They make money, they spend the money. An investment, by the way. So let's see who they bring in. Let's see who they bring in first before we jump to conclusions. Next up, I'm running low on time. A lot of blabba. A lot of Steiner math. Ace Austin is king. That's what I get written down because this is all freestyle, guys. And I mean it in the sense of this is coming straight from the heart, straight from how I actually feel. This kid, said it again. I know you guys could say duh all you want. It's fine. Not the only one with this thing, and that's the point. This isn't about being right. This is about prophecy being fulfilled. Ace Austin is the best prospect we've had since AJ Styles. That's it. Impact did all they could do for this kid without giving him the belt. And then he goes to New Japan, and now he's on the point where everyone else wants, wow, he's got to get out of Impact. He's wasted there. Motherfuckers, you weren't rocking with him when he was Impact. He's still Impact, by the way. And he makes that apparently so. We'll get to that. You guys, look, I'll say this again, and this is pro wrestling, because I am not targeting companies. I never target companies. I target individuals. And when I say I target, I grow up and I feed by the same way mindset as my good pal, Zebo Zach Randolph. In my neighborhood, bullies get bullied, okay? And if you're online saying he needs to leave this company because this company is the shit, da-da-da-da-da, okay. You've said that about half the roster. So when does time come to where you say, these people need to leave Impact, this company sucks, and you say, wow, these people are in Impact, this company fucking kicks ass? I know it's easier to say, Impact, mid-pack, which, by the way, and this isn't biased, this is truthful. This is someone who has dabbled in marketing. I brand, I do other things. Mid-pack is one of the worst nicknames or whatevers that I've ever heard in my life. It is so lame, okay? And the fact that throwing digs, do not waste your time on these people. They only come about when it's easy to hate or it's easy to like. They need people, they need a herd to latch onto. These are the type of people who've never been punched in the face. Hey, and that's okay. You don't need to be punched in the face to understand class and self-respect and respect towards others. But it sure damn helps. Okay? So anyways, don't spend your time on them. And these people need to realize that the more they say, well, Maclin's great, he needs to get out of there. Ace is great, he needs to get out of there. Bay is great, he needs to get out. Josh is great, he needs to get... Bro, you're just listing all of our roster. So I guess Impact's great. Which it is. Anywho, this kid, man, he's fulfilling that prophecy. He went to New Japan. He is now to the point where I said people are clamoring over him. He's worldwide known within wrestling. It changed his life forever, as he says. He's rocked with Impact since day one. He's been treated as if he was rocking with Impact since day one. From making pornos to screwing Trey's mom. And everything in the 3 X Division titles. I'm telling you guys, I love Josh, but if at Destination X this kid cashes that belt in and beats Josh, I have no problem. No problem. He's built his star outside of the company, he's built it within. He is the Prince of Phenomenal. It's time to crown this motherfucker. He is the king. And not only for what he does within Impact and outside of Impact and for Impact, it goes more to this. Look at all the trolls who that he is clapping back on. If Gio wants a clap back moment of the week, just follow her boy Ace. Because this dude is crushing it. Sticking up for Impact, sticking up for himself, and proving to these people that, yes, it doesn't take much to put a shitty opinion up. I won't even say opinion. Shitty take up. And it only takes one comment back to put that person in their place. So, there's that. But Ace, man, crown this kid. Next up, as you can see in the back, oh no, it was ending. Now it's restarting. But it is last call for us. We are almost in the end, but I do want to at least hit on Slammiversary. And then you guys can go take a breather yourself, cleanse that palate, and then go watch Max and myself at 9:15 live on YouTube, TNAIW channel. And you can watch this, if you're not watching it now, at 10 p.m. right there after. We talk MJF, like I said, Athena, because once again, this is about what they are outside and what the free agency is outside of Impact and vice versa. So anyway, Slammiversary matches. This is what I got to talk about. It's coming up. We talked about Honor No More versus Impact Originals. We're talking Briscoes versus the Good Brothers. Ultimate X, now that has Jack Evans, Kenny King, Ace Austin, Mike Bailey, and Trey. Queen of the Mountain, which is Deanna, Chelsea, Tasha, Jordan, and Mia. And then the main event, which is Josh and Eric Young. There's a question I'm asking you, the people. You, the people. What do you want to see? What opening Pandora's box, TNA's Pandora box, what comes out? What surprises do you think that's going to happen? There's some that I'm confident about. I'm not going to say. Oh, it's too easy, right? No, because I'm not going to say I'm right afterwards either. I'm just going to say I hope it is. I wish into existence. I don't want to jinx it. But I think we get a Hall of Fame announcement. And once again, there's other things than this. But the breadcrumbs are there. Follow the breadcrumbs. Okay. I don't know what they're going to do with the NWA title. I want you to keep your eye on the NWA in general. But he's got to give that belt back at some point to Rich, right? Cardona, excuse me. I said this once. I'm going to say it again. I think June 19th, 2002, even though Jarrett didn't win it then. He's synonymous with the NWA championship. NWA is, I still think, especially with the not so much older heads, that the beginning of the company, NWA, TNA are still tied together. No offense to Pierce Walker Ranger. Love Adam Pierce. And Cabana and everyone else that held down the fort afterwards. But I think there's something brewing there. I think Double J, it would be silly for him not to be there. Don't care his other job. Okay, I think that other job and us have a pretty decent relationship. And I want you to look out for Slammiversary. Do I know if that means... I don't know. Here's what I'll say. Here's the question I'll ask you, and then we'll leave it on that. We hit the hour mark. Fans are clapping in behind me. If they leave those 2 spots blank for the TNA Originals, and you had your choice, we've heard some, and WWE's helping us out, right? 20 years, they respect it. Don't care what you say. Go actually look at, Geoff talks about Vince's actual opinion of TNA and it lasting 20 years. What noise would you pop more for? Would you pop more for guilty? I find the defendant guilty? Or would you pop more for a beer can opening and the cha-ching and not be the Good Brothers, but it be beer money? I want you to think about it. You tell me. We had Chris Harris this week. Let's see. I'll leave it off at that. Leave it in the comments here. I love you guys. Thank you. Let's get to that just to keep... Hey, this is the end. Next up, to Impact Zone 915 right here on... Depending on when you watch this YouTube channel, TNAIW channel. I love my Twitch fam. Thank you guys. I'll tell you the number next week. But 70 was a blessing, man. Get those numbers up. Help us. Let us know that we're doing something right here and that we should continue doing what we're doing. Io says both. Yeah, brother. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up, but once again, we can use the help, and if we get the help, we could do some more cool stuff. We have a really creative, fun team, man, and yeah, let's give them some support. Let's give them some love as well. Obviously, Io on Twitter, and then the rest of the group. Tuesdays now for GoGo Power Rankings Turbo with Datila and Bert. Thursdays with Nixon and Craig on TBN, and then look out for some cool TBN chats. And LOL Trine come back for season 2, but also the finale that was Steiner Math will come soon. Had some tomfoolery with the media there. So thank you again, guys. We love you. God bless. Good night.